Hello traders, how have you been? I'm sure you've been trading well. Now, this video is sharing my quick thoughts on the concept of volume profile using the TradingView platform. Now, out of the many good aspects of TradingView is, of course, the fact that it offers much more, and TradingView definitely is, volume profile definitely is one such concept. Those who don't know what volume profile is or volume at price, let me quickly guide you through that. If you can see this is Nifty. Let's try and figure out some stock. That will make a little more sense. Nifty is a derived entity, Reliance. So this is Reliance Industries stock, and the conventional volumes, which we can see the histograms down here, essentially tells us the total quantum of volumes on that particular day. So if I look at the last trading session, which is the 19th of March 2021, we see that Reliance Industries made a low of 1988 and a high of 2095. And in this day, the total volumes was somewhere here. It is, if we open this, we will get to see, which is, 17.186 million shares. Now, the 17.1 million shares is spread across this range. And what volume at price does, it will tell us, it will show us across this range which price saw the maximum volumes, which price did not see such high volumes. That's why it's called volume at price. Now, in this TradingView platform, if you go to the indicators and strategies section, you will find down here volume profile. And there are essentially three options: fixed range, session volume. Session volume can be shown in two ways, a simpler way and a high definition way. And there is a visible range. Let's start with the last one, the visible range. Whenever you select visible range, okay, you see it plots as an indicator up here, VPVR, visible range, volume profile, visible range. And whatever is the amount of candlesticks or bars that you have opened, the visible range on the chart, it will consider the first candlestick and the last candlestick on the chart as it sees, and it will plot volume profile. You can see on the right. So we can see that the bulk of volumes in this entire period that is visible on the chart has been this. And the maximum histogram is marked over here as the point of control. If I click on the settings and if I show you, there are some ways in which you can show the volumes where it's the maximum in terms of million shares and may or may not be needed. Width of the box you can increase and decrease. The placement you can put it on the left, or if you wish you can put it on the right. Up volumes, down volumes, the volumes which has happened hitting the bid ask price, bid or the ask price. And this red line is the point of control, which essentially shows the cluster of the maximum volumes that happen. Developing POC and developing VA is something that I'm not too sure about what they are, and so I do not use them. They generally look like this. It should ideally mean a level which is getting developed, but as I said, something that I don't understand completely, I would not like to use it, neither share my thoughts on that. Now, if I increase the range of the chart, the volume profile will get recalculated because the visible range of the chart has been changed. If I increase further, it changes. So VPVR, or the last part of the volume profile, is based on the visible range. Okay, that's number one. I don't think that's so important. For the short-term traders, intraday traders, I think session volume HD essentially does the same thing. If you click on it, then what it does, it breaks the volumes, the volume profile of every session, that is one particular day, into each day's part. Means this particular candlestick over here, the volume profile of this particular bar has been plotted. and it shows the point of control. So on the 19th of March, which is the last candlestick here, a chunk of volumes actually happened at 2078. If I change this daily chart and let's say I move into the 75-minute time frame, so you will see much more clearly that the last 5 candles makes one session. This was 19th March, first candle, second, third, fourth, fifth candle. And now over here you can see this entire 5 candles have been selected, and it shows the volume profile of that particular session. So we can see that the chunk of the volumes happened at around close to the 2080 mark, and then we can see at 2025 there is some volumes happened here, but the point of control is 2080. Similarly, the day before that, this was the point of control. This was a chunk of, it was well spread day. As it was selling off, we can see that the volumes happened throughout. The day before that was more of a sideways. The day before that was very flat for Reliance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it did not even go anywhere. Some volumes happened here. And likewise, when you plot the volume profile of each and every session, right, you tend to get the point of control, these horizontal red lines, for each and every day. What does this help us to do is you can find out some areas where you have a cluster of POC. So we can see that this level and this level has clusters of POC, means a lot of volumes have happened in this zone. So we can expect them, not necessarily that they will work all the time, we can expect them to act as some degree of resistance on the upside, or if we see the same thing on the downside, we can expect some degree of support to come in. That's volume profile for each and every session. Good for, I think, have some clarity for the short-term traders. If you see a strong POC on the top, a lot of volumes have happened at a certain level, you are long on a position, then it makes sense to be a little careful and look to protect your open profits once those POCs are getting tested. But what I personally use most of the time is the fixed range. Fixed range is I will select the range. So for example, this is the daily chart of Reliance Industries. I will remove the conventional volumes for the time being. And the fixed range is also available down here. I don't always go there. So I click on this section, and down here we can see fixed range volume profile. So let's say I can clearly see that Reliance Industries did sell off very sharply from 2370 down to 1840, 44, 45. This was the entire sell off. After that it went range bound, and now it's trying to pick up. If I wish to know that in this entire sell off, now I'm going to select the range. See, fixed range, I fix the range. So I want to know in this sell off from this high to this low, show me the volume profile. In this entire fall, which section of prices, which range of prices saw the maximum volumes as it sold off. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to select down here the entire range. I'm going to click on it, and there you go. It clearly shows that in the very first leg, this was the chunk where the majority of, you can use the word distribution, happened. After that, the fall did not see much volumes except a little bit down here. This point of control we can use, we can expect that it may in the future, may, not always, okay, don't get carried away that point of controls will always work as resistance, can give us some resistance. And in this case, Reliance, yes, it did actually, as we were bouncing back, it did work as good, very good resistance in fact. This acts well, not always, but you get a sense, at least you know that 2230, 2235 to 2225 kind of zone did see a lot of volumes, and price has a very good memory, so it remembers. This is how a fixed range volume profile is very, very useful. If you look at the recent bounce back, this bounce back, I can break it down into two parts. I would like to see from this move to this move, what was the kind of volume profile. So the POC is down here at 1935. there's a pretty decent amount of volumes happening here also at this top, these two tops. If I now look at the volume profile from this point to this point, then I see a lot of volumes happened here and quite a bit of chunk of volumes happened down here as well. So this entire move, now if I delete these two just to understand, and then if I draw the volume profile of this entire rally, sorry, just landed up deleting it. If I see this, then you can clearly find out that a lot of chunk of volumes have happened. Don't always go by the red line, okay? Keep your eyes open, use a little bit of your intelligence and figure out where are the decent sized histograms, okay? So we can see 2020 all the way up till this 2100. So 2020, 2100, 2120, this zone did find a chunk of volumes for Reliance Industries. So if you mark this zone, if you happen to mark this zone like this, you would like to keep a close eye at Reliance Industries. And you can see very clearly as I mark it and extend it to the left and right, this 2020, 2120 kind of 100-pointer range for Reliance did act as some degree of importance in the past, and it is also acting now. So when you combine a volume profile along with conventional supports and resistance, and of course you kind of lace it out with your common sense, keep your eyes open on where to expect supports and resistance, and not blindly go by POC, or don't blindly going by where the maximum volumes have happened. Don't do that. When you make a confluence, a combination of few aspects, then this kind of tool definitely helps. You can use this in any time frame, short-term intraday charts as well as medium-term to long-term charts. If you're a short-term trader, I would always suggest go for the session volumes. So if this is a 15-minute chart of Reliance, and if you come here, go to volume profile and say session volume, then what it will do is it will show you the spread of volumes for each and every session, that is each and every trading day. Now of course you will have, as I can see it is bouncing back, you will have various POCs. So just don't blindly go by POC, okay, I can expect resistance here and resistance here and resistance here. Of course it will not stop at each and every level. The work for us will be to figure out which of these levels I can expect. Of course, when there is a confluence of POCs, as I can see here, close to the 2110 level, I can of course definitely expect strong resistances. Use the other concepts at these levels. Do we have important highs and lows in the past or not? So for short-term traders, this is something which is useful. And for, I think, positional traders who are looking at the daily, the weekly or the long-term charts, for them, I think you can use the fixed range. Fixed range is something which is, I find, very, very useful, because the fixed range allows me to figure out that how has the volumes played out per range which I'm selecting. So if it's any movement, like let's say an HDFC Bank, and this is the daily chart of HDFC Bank, I would like to know, as HDFC Bank rallied from this point to this point, what was the behavior of the volumes. As it rallied from this point to this point, I can see this POC did act as very good support. See, it actually worked well. So don't expect it will work all the time, neither will it not work all the time. So similarly, I break it down like this and figure out that, okay, in this move of HDFC from 1350 up till 1650, 1640, it was at the higher levels that the chunk of the volumes happened. This is distribution, and this can act as some resistance, which I think to some extent it tried to. It did manage to close once or twice above it, but then most of the time it stays below. Right? So use this concept. You will find it useful. It will give you information about the volumes, an idea about zones and range of price, wherein a bulk of trades have exchanged hands and price has a very good memory, so those important levels will always be respected and remembered. Use the confluence, do not blindly go by the POC. And as you exercise and experience it more, you are definitely going to get better at it. Just don't completely keep your anticipation at the POC, you will be disappointed. Do a complete analysis, and yes, it will give a little edge to your decision making in trading. So, I hope you found this video useful. Do share your suggestions and feedbacks and comments. Definitely a good kick motivator for me to keep on making new videos for you and everyone. Till then, trade well and take good care of yourself. Goodbye.